What's up guys, my name is Devin and welcome back to another episode of Footballrs. In today's video, we're going to be unboxing and reviewing the Nike Vapor Edge 360 Untouchable. Alright guys, so here are the cleats we're taking a look at in today's video. Again, these are the Nike Vapor Edge 360 Untouchable football cleats. We did do a little comparison video comparing these to the OGs from 2014. So hopefully you guys did check out this video, but this video is going to be a true unboxing and review of the new Untouchables. Without further ado, let's get into the box here. This isn't my first time seeing them. Like I mentioned, we have taken a quick look at them, but I haven't tested them or really done much with them at all. So here are the cleats and they look fantastic. I always loved the 2014 Untouchable silhouette and they brought it back and it looks just as good. You've got the nice backward swoosh on there, the Flyknit upper, and now an Edge traction plate. All right, so first thing I want to do is get the paper out so I can get a true feel of the cleats. And they do feel pretty light, similar to the 2014 pair. Good feeling right away. Let me get the cardboard and paper out of this one as well, and we can start to talk about the cleats. So the first thing I want to talk about is the upper. So this is the Flyknit upper. It's the exact same upper that we saw on 2014. If you guys watched the comparison video, you know that the upper is exactly the same. Hasn't been changed whatsoever. It's a nice white color. It's a nice breathable Flyknit material, and of course the cuff goes all the way up here. The cuff is a slightly different material. You guys can see like the holes are a little bit different. It's a little bit thicker, I want to say, and it's not reinforced on the inside like this Flyknit is. And of course the lacing system on these is Nike's iconic Flywire. So these are cables that kind of run all the way through the cleat, kind of connect to the side here. So when you pull these laces tight, the Flywire wraps around your foot and gives you a nice, tight, secure fit all the way around. Now these do have kind of a mid-cut look to them, but this collar is really just for show. It does give you a nice snug fit around your ankle, which is always nice, but it's not really going to give you a ton of support. It's just kind of a soft mesh. It looks good, it feels pretty good, but doesn't really offer a ton of structure or stability, but still pretty cool to see on there. And of course, alongside this Flyknit, you have this nice exterior overlay that kind of comes up through the side of the cleat, goes around the edge, and then kind of comes up on the toe box, and then kind of does that same little wave pattern throughout the back and the inside of the cleat. This little portion gives the cleat a little more stiffness. It really doesn't add very much whatsoever. It's more of a durability thing, if I were to guess. I don't know, like I said, they did it on the 2014 model and it worked out pretty well. So here it is again in 2024. So it's kind of weird to go over the overall design and aesthetic of a football cleat that technically dropped 10 years ago, but of course we're going to. This is a very cool colorway. It's a white and like a purple bluish colorway. It kind of changes depending on the lighting. Of course, you have the backwards Nike swoosh, one of my favorite looks. This was early before we saw like Travis Scott doing it and the LeBrons doing it. This, in my mind, was the first. I could be wrong, but the backwards swoosh was just such an interesting idea back in 2014, and now it's pretty standard on a lot of stuff. But then you do have the inside swoosh right here. That looks really, really nice. It kind of goes on the side and kind of comes in to the center of that toe box and gives it just such an aggressive look. Love how that swoosh looks. Then on the inside of the heel, you have the Nike text right here. Always love this detail as well. I just think it looks so cool. Just seeing the word Nike just all out there in a nice box logo. Looks really good. Now the laces on these aren't anything really that crazy, just a nice simple pair of laces, and then these have black aglets. They don't have the neon green or like the checkered pattern that we saw in the original 2014 pair, but still looks pretty good. The black kind of matches with the Flywire there, and then of course there's the black outline on the swooshes as well as the Nike box logo. Now on the back, these do have a nice little heel loop. Unfortunately, it does not say the "see you later" that the 2014 pair had. That was one of the coolest details. Let me actually show you guys because I just think it's so cool. So unfortunately, I only have the right cleat out right now because it's on display in the studio, but you guys can see this one says Nike Football, and then the left shoe that I don't have access to right now says "see you later." So there's no detail on the new ones like they did on the old ones. It's just, I wish they did. That's kind of a miss by Nike. Also, here's the unique aglet design I was talking about. These just have a standardized black one, so nothing too fancy going on with the aglets. Next thing I want to look at is the padding on the inside. There's not really a lot. I've seen a lot of skill cleats with much more padding than this, so kind of a letdown, but I do want to say it's more than the OG pair. The OG pair, it's kind of hard to see because these are black, but the padding is a lot thinner. But of course, keep in mind, I've worn these a couple times, so the padding has been kind of compressed, but it still looks like they added maybe a little bit more padding on these. Also new on these cleats is going to be the insole. Let me pull that out for you guys. So this is a Nike grip insole. You guys have probably seen it in the past. It has a nice stiff look. And then of course on the underside, you have kind of this grid that locks into a shank that's kind of inside the cleat. So this shank right here, it's a little tough to see because it's dark, but that gives the cleat its springiness that kind of springs you into your next step. And then this grid kind of locks into that. So this insole is not moving inside the cleat, gives you a nice locked in fit. Also, the sides of this insole are kind of raised to kind of channel your foot and keep it kind of locked in place as you play football, which is always really nice. It gives you a nice good fit. Now, the main difference on these that makes them different from the 2014 is going to be the traction plate. This, of course, is the Edge traction plate. We've seen this for like 3 to 4 years now. It's a 2-piece plate with these studs on the outermost parts of your foot. So when you go to cut, that stud is the first thing hitting the dirt, so you can get in and out really quickly. It's a good traction plate. Honestly, I really was a huge fan of the OG Vapor Carbon plate. I would have loved to see them bring this back, but I understand, you know, they really are trying to push out this plate, and it's not bad. It's a good plate. It's one of the best in the game, but I do miss the springiness of the carbon one. So we have talked about this plate a bunch, but I'll kind of run through it really quick. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 studs in the front that are kind of a unique triangle arrow shape. This one has like a unique triangle shape. And then you've got some of these little like gills, I always call them, right here in the middle. They are kind of raised, so you get a little bit of extra bite into the turf there, and then some in the back as well. And then in the true back, you have 4 kind of triangle L shaped, I don't know what to call them. And then of course this giant heel counter in the back as well. But overall, this cleat looks amazing. One of the best looking football cleats out by far. The 2014 styling is absolutely iconic. And then this traction plate is one of the best on the market currently. So overall, this cleat is pretty sweet looking. I'm very excited to try it out and see if it performs just as well as the OG 2014. Let's get into the review. All right, now that you guys have watched the whole unboxing, it's time to get into the review. In the review, we're gonna look at a bunch of different things. We're gonna look at the comfort, the fit and support, the traction, the style, what position these cleats are best for, and of course, the price. The first thing we're gonna talk about is the comfort. The comfort on these is all right. Similar to the 2014 model, these are a pretty bare bones football cleat with a raw feel. In the heel, you get a small bit of padding, but it's not enough. It's just very thin and doesn't give you as much cushion as I would like. You do feel your heel kind of pressed up against that heel cup, which is pretty annoying and can get uncomfortable. And of course, you have an entire fly knit upper, which makes the cleat feel pretty cozy and conforms to your foot pretty well. Now, you guys know I like ankle cuffs on my football cleats, and the ones on the original Untouchables were one of my favorites of all time. But for these, it's not too bad, but it's a little bit more loose than I would like. You guys can actually see in one of the try-on clips how loose it is kind of around my ankle. You can see kind of some air between the cuff and my ankle. As far as slipping these on, it is a little bit tricky. These do have a nice heel loop, but none in the front, so it's kind of tough to pull on this piece and get your foot in there. The insole on these is the same as the other Vapor Edge models we've talked about on the channel. It's not too bad, but it's certainly not the most cushioned on the market. Overall, the comfort on these is nothing special. The entire cleat is very minimal and very bare bones. The next thing we're going to talk about is the fit and support. Now, I'm not sure what they changed about the fit and support on these, but they feel a lot different than they did back in 2014. I got these cleats in my regular size, and they just aren't as tight as I would like. If you want to grab these, I'd recommend maybe going down a half a size to get a good fit, but the best advice I can give you is to try these on in the store and then get the exact fit for you. For me, they were just kind of loose side to side, and like I mentioned, that cuff was kind of loose around my ankle as well. I actually had to double check to make sure Nike sent me the right size because they just felt so much looser than I expected them to feel. For their lacing system, these do have Nike fly wire, so that's the cables you guys see running through the side of the cleat. They kind of go around, connect at the base, and then when you tighten up your laces, you get a nice tight fit. As far as support goes, these are about the same as they were in 2014. They're very bare bones. They don't have a ton of side to side support, and then the padding all around is pretty minimal. When you slip these on, you do feel your heel kind of sink into place, which is really nice. Really locks down the back of your foot and keeps the cleat from slipping off your foot. At the end of the day, these are a cleat built for speed and not so much support. Overall, these cleats fit a little bit looser than I expected, so my number one advice is to go to the store, try them on, get them in the right size. The next we're going to talk about is the traction. Now, we've talked about the Nike Edge traction plate probably 100 times on this channel by now because they keep throwing it on their skill football cleats, but it's still one of the best in football. The Edge plate is a 2-piece construction. You have a front plate and a heel plate, and they have studs placed on the outermost parts of your foot, so when you go to cut, these studs are the first thing hitting the dirt so you can get in and out of cuts super quick. The plate on these is also super stiff and snappy because of a plastic shank that kind of runs through underneath the insole, so this gives the cleat that spring and it kind of replaces the carbon fiber that they used on the original 2014 pair. Overall, you guys know I love this traction plate. It's one of the best on the market for skill football cleats, and that doesn't change with the new Untouchables. The next we're going to talk about is the style. In my mind, there is no better looking football cleat than these. These were the best looking cleat in 2014, and now I think they're the best looking cleat in 2024. The backward swoosh, the cool wavy overlay on the side, and then the Nike text on the inside heel of the cleat. I just love all these cool details, and the nostalgia factor plays a huge role for me as well. Honestly, the cleanest cleat silhouette I've ever seen. Right now, they only have 2 colorways. There is this white and purplish blue color, and then there's a black and white pair. I think most of them have pretty much sold out. Hopefully they add more colors soon because people have been going crazy for these cleats, so they better get on that ASAP. Overall, these are as good as it gets in the looks department for a football cleat. The next thing we're going to talk about is what position these cleats are best for. Now, these obviously are a skill football cleat meant for the fastest skill football players on the football field. So that's going to be QBs, running backs, wide receivers, and DB. So of course, those are all skill positions, guys who touch the football a lot and run really fast. But overall, they're lightweight and built for speed, so that's an easy speed football cleat designation. The next thing we're going to talk about is the price. The retail on these is $180. Now, $180 is definitely on the high side for a pair of skill football cleats, and Nike definitely marked them up just due to that overall nostalgia factor we talked about earlier, but they're a pretty good football cleat. They're made with some pretty good materials, and the 2014 models held up pretty well. You still see guys wearing the 2014 model even today. They're pretty good in the durability department, so I don't think 180 is too crazy in a mass, but it is definitely a little bit on the higher side. Overall, I'm so happy that these cleats have been brought back by Nike, and I definitely got to get them in the correct size for myself so that I can use them, of course, because they are so cool, and I just love how these football cleats are. If you guys are buying these, I strongly recommend, once again, go to your local sports store, try them on, and get the right size for you. But these are some of the coolest cleats you guys can buy in 2024. They're lightweight, they breathe really well, and the traction plate is one of the best you can get on a skill cleat. Also, these cleats have been everywhere through the first week of the season, and lots of guys are absolutely loving them. There you guys have it. There's a full unboxing review on the Nike Vapor Edge 360 Untouchable football cleats. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, make sure to like the video, comment what you guys want to see us do next, and make sure to subscribe for more videos just like this one. My name is Devin, and thank you guys so much for tuning into another episode of Footballrs.